Yes, this brand new Scott Addict Gravel is as fast as it looks, and in my experience, easily as fast as a 3T Exploro Race Max and a Avilia Rave SLR. But where the two bikes compromise on comfort and being versatile, this new bike doesn't. We have big chunky tyres, and we have mounts for extra bags, bottles, and get this, even mud guards. Yes, you can fit mud guards to the bike. And then we have aero and integration borrowed from their race bikes like the Addict RC and the Foil. So really exciting, a really interesting option in the gravel bike market right now. And later in the video, we'll go for a spin and see how it performs and handles. But first, let me give you a tour of the bike and point out some important details and some things I like and dislike of this brand new bike. Now, it's fair to say that Scott has been slow to the gravel bike market, at least compared to other bike brands, but this new bike is a big step forward. So we have dedicated gravel bike geometry that's longer in the reach with a shorter stem and a lower bottom bracket, giving more stability when riding off-road and on loose surfaces. We then have big tyres, 45mm as stock. We have loads of mounts for mud guards, yes, mud guards, extra bags and bottles, but then a big dose of aero and integration from their road bikes. So full internal cable routing at the front, as you can see. So very modern and very sleek. So the range starts from £2,500 and tops out at over £8,000 for a tuned model. And this is the £5,400 model with carbon fibre DT Swiss gravel wheels, Schwalbe G1 bite tyres, a SRAM Force E-Tap 2x group set, carbon flared handlebars from Syncross. And while the top end model gets a one-piece carbon fibre stem and handlebar with full integration, at least here we have a two-piece handlebar and stem with the cables going underneath the stem into the frame just there. So you're free to swap the stem for a longer or shorter one, or a different handlebar, wider or narrower, flared or less flared if you want. And it is a very striking, very dramatic looking bike thanks to all the aero tube profiles. We have the D-shaped profiles borrowed from their race bikes in the down tube, the seat tube, the carbon fibre seat post, the drop rear stays, a common feature on road race bikes and coming to the gravel bike market as well. And a really cool paint job on this option as well, really pared back graphics. It's a paint job that looks better in real life, so if you get a chance to see it in the bike shop, you really should. Definitely suits a gravel bike and looks good, clean or muddy. Integration is clearly a buzzword in the cycling market right now, and we're seeing lots of top-end road race bikes being given the integration treatment, and it's happening here in the gravel bike market as well. Whether it's a good thing or a bad thing, it's up to you. One benefit of the cables being internal is that it's easy to fit a handlebar bag because no cables get in the way, and it looks clean and looks very modern as well. The new Addict Gravel is as lightweight as you would expect from a company with a reputation for making some of the lightest road bikes we've ever seen. So the frame comes in at a claimed 930 grams, and the complete bike here, as you see it, without pedals, weighs 8.5 kilograms, which is very impressive for a gravel bike with big fat tyres, and is lighter than many road race bikes of a similar price and specification. It's perhaps a shame to see a press-fit bottom bracket and not a threaded bottom bracket, but Scott is a performance-focused company and a bike built for being as light and stiff as possible. And it's a PF86, so the most reliable system out there. We also have some very neat details like the tiny lightweight seat clamp on a D-shaped seat post there, and a very simple, easy to use one bolt clamp on the saddle. So I've been riding this bike for the last few months, and it is a bike that's been a lot of fun to ride. It's fast, it's lightweight, it's very responsive, and it eats up miles and miles of gravel, road and woodland trails with ease. I like the SRAM Force E-Tap group set, but I'm not really a fan of 2x personally. I see why Scott have spec 2x on this bike, given we're seeing gravel racers still go to 2x for the closer ratios you get on such a group set. Clearance around the front to make battery is pretty tight, as you can see, but I've had no issue riding through some very muddy conditions. You get more mud building up on the front mech, but nothing too extreme. I would prefer a 1x. There's only a single 1x option in the range. Most of them are 2x. You could buy a frame and build it yourself. It is 1x or 2x compatible, but personally I prefer the Explore version of this Force group set, with a 1044 cassette and a single chainring on the front for cleaner, more minimal looks and just the ease of use you get from a one-by setup. The gearing does work well, to be fair. The brakes are fantastic. We've got 160 rotors front and rear. And neat detail on this bike is you can, if you want, spec a 180 rotor on the front. Only a few bike brands are going bigger at the front. The BMC Urge has a 180 rotor on the front, and the VLA will also take a 180 on the front. Whether you need a 180 rotor on the front depends on how you're riding the bike and where you're riding. Now, if I lived in the mountains, where the company is based, I would probably have a bigger rotor for longer descents, but here in the UK, the descents are pretty short and a 160 rotor is more than sufficient. I've had no issues from the integration on the handlebar and the stem. I really like the handlebar, the nice flare shape, not too extreme, and a nice grippy bar tape that works well when you're riding without gloves, which I like to, even though it's a bit too cold right now for no gloves. You can adjust the height of the stem, as you can see, with the spaces underneath it, but I've left it in the stock setting. It's quite an aggressive setup, definitely quite low at the front, so having a few spaces has been no bad thing. If I was buying the bike, I would definitely change the saddle. Now, saddles are personal, but this one does not work for me at all. Way too firm, so that would go in the bin straight away. This bike is bloody quick, on road and off road. It just carries its speed well everywhere and gets up to speed so quickly with no delay at all. The low weight, the high stiffness of the frame, the aero benefits all contribute to a bike that is startlingly quick. If I was entering a gravel race tomorrow, I'd happily pick this bike. It would look after me, it'd be fast, give me everything I want from a gravel race bike. But happily, it still works well away from the racing scene. The bike is amazing on a variety of terrain as well. Fast on the road, very little drag from these fat tyres, fantastic on smooth gravel. And when it comes to hilly terrain, the low weight and the high stiffness really aids your progress. Definitely on the lighter end of the spectrum, and the stiffness is very high. They kept it on a par with their Addict RC race bike, and you really feel that. Despite the big tyres, it's still a firm ride. Not harsh or uncomfortable, but not as smooth as a Giant Revolt or a Specialized Diverge STR. So comfort is your main priority. This might not be the bike for you, but if you want the best blend of speed and comfort, well, yes, this bike's a really good option. The geometry isn't the most progressive, not as slack as some other gravel bikes. You still get the benefits of the longer reach and the lower bottom bracket, giving enhanced capability and sure-footedness off-road, but it still feels kind of road bike-esque when you are riding on the road. So for the roadie getting to gravel, this bike will suit them really well. What I love about this bike is how you can bash along the road as fast as you want, but then see some gravel, so ride away, and then turn off onto it. And the bike maintains its speed off-road. It's so nice to get a gravel bike with proper meaty, chunky tyres that actually grip when it's wet, loose and muddy. I've had 2 punctures on the rear. It's either bad luck or Siny tyres aren't the most puncture proof. I'm not sure which it is. But I've been no blemish on my experience riding a bike for the last few months. Otherwise, it's been hunky-dory. It's been a lot of fun to live with and ride as much as I've been able to. So I think Scott has done a great job here. Slow to the party for sure, but finally caught up with an excellent offering in the gravel sector. Fast, smooth, versatile, fun, aero, integration. Yeah, it's ticking a lot of boxes, but it does deliver. It all comes together so well. Delivers an amazing ride. I'd love to do a big adventure on this bike, a big 200, 300 kilometer gravel race, something like that. Maybe do some bike packing as well. Maybe next summer I'll get a chance to do that. So all things considered, the Addict Gravel is a really exciting addition to the growing gravel bike category going forward. and a bike I can easily recommend. This one is quite pricey, to be fair. I'd probably go for the cheaper SRAM Rival One Bike Explore option. Same frame, but lower quality parts, but I think it will give the same level of performance, maybe a bit heavier, but still ride just as well, and then still versatile, mud guards, bags, spacer wide tyres as well. And it's great to see Scott finally join the gravel bike party, because it has been missing out for the last couple of years. And if you've got any questions about this new bike, then feel free to put them down below in the comment section. I'll do my best to answer them. But in the meantime, if you want to see some of the best other gravel bikes available right now, then check this video right up here, and don't forget to subscribe by hitting the button right here. But that's all for today. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you again very soon. Hello. Oh, you're very friendly, aren't you? Hello, got that down. On the face.